What's up, guys? We're live for an UFC 325 reaction video. This is going to be real quick, man. I'm just going to walk you guys through. Obviously, we're going to talk about the main event, Volkanovski and Lopez. I think what we got was a continuation of the first fight. There was a lot of things that, I normally don't listen to the fights through commentary. Just kind of skews the way that I score them, those kind of things, which is, I have talked to a lot of other fighters. They talk about doing the same thing. They want to make sure that they're looking at it impartially. In this situation, though, I really believe that Lopez has all the tools, all the weapons, but I saw a little bit tonight of what I saw in the first fight, and this is what skewed me to believe that he would change. And my automatic reaction, this is like a really quick reaction to this, and my reason why my reactions are there is because ultimately I thought he was going to win because he wasn't going to show Volk as much respect. And you saw right from the jump, he's fist bumping him. He's out there. Look, I think a lot of it has to do with because Volkanovski is such, and I talked about this on X, is that he's loved by everybody. How do you not like the guy? Comes in with the energy. I mean, everyone loves him. It's just, it ended up just being where Lopez was not pulling the trigger. You need to pull the trigger to win the fight. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Antoine Willis. What's up, man? How you been? How you been? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to start trying to do this a little bit, especially on cards where I feel like maybe there could have been some great fights. Maybe there wasn't. Instead of covering the whole card, I want to jump on right after, give you guys my automatic reaction quickly right after the fights while it's still fresh in my mind. And then Angelo and I will be dropping a full breakdown of the card tomorrow morning. We go live tomorrow morning. I believe it's going to be, we're going to go at 10 a.m. East Central Time. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You guys can check us out live. We're going to do a full breakdown tomorrow morning. This right here is just a quick recap and just my quick reaction video. I felt like Diego Lopez did not leave it out there. He could have done so much more. I thought he was going to show a little bit more sense of urgency throughout the fight. I thought he'd come out and understand the feeling, the pressure, all of those things that Volk brings, understanding how to deal with the speed that he had to deal with in the first. And DC said it right. DC goes, Volk got tired in the first fight towards the end. He wasn't exhausted at all in this fight. And I don't know if it's because there was less action from Lopez on this fight. I felt like there was just, he didn't pull the trigger. Not even as the fight went, he didn't pull the trigger. He was waiting around. And when you're the slower fighter, when you're the fighter that only throws ones and twos, those are the situations you put yourself in when you realize you're down. When you are down by 2 or 3 rounds, going into the fourth and fifth, you need to understand, I've got to let it go. Even his coaches were telling him, like, hey, man, we really need you to pull this trigger. And he just couldn't get it going. It was very frustrating. And I don't know, if you're the coach, you've got to be thinking to yourself, man, what can we do to get him to let go? I think it was just overall, he showed Volkanovski way too much respect, and that had a direct result to the outcome. There was things that he was doing really well. When he was pressuring and he was pulling the trigger, he was able to land. But what he wasn't doing, he wasn't throwing more than 2 and 3 because he was the slower fighter. So there's a couple times, especially in that 5th round, he had the front headlock. I didn't understand why he let it go. There was a couple times where he was able to get into grappling exchanges and he made space and got away. You're not winning the exchanges on the feet. So I was really lost and baffled by, there was no change in game plan from the first fight, no sense of urgency to throw more combinations. And I really believed the lead up to this fight, I was talking the whole time about this could be Lopez's fight. I believe that, Father Time is undefeated. Volk's getting a little bit older, and the lighter weights at 145 pounds, 135, when the speed starts to go. He was the way faster fighter, not even a little bit. He was a lot faster. He fought like a true veteran. He was pulling the trigger. He was letting the hands go. Everything he was doing was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So Volk, man, I got to tip my hat to you. You look great. Absolutely looked fantastic. I thought it was amazing. I was happy to see you win. When you walked out and the energy you had, the sense of relaxation, I think the monkey was off your back, getting that first, getting that title, and then also now defending it, just understanding where you live in this sport now. Like you've done so much. Him, when they were introducing him, as a fan, I was just eating it up, man. I was eating it up because he was just he's one of those guys that you can tell he loves the fight. He loves the energy. He loves everything about being inside that cage. And what better place to do it in when you're in your own country and defending your title there? I thought the fight was overall a little slower, but I'm not going to put any blame on Volkanovski. Volkanovski did what he had to do. When you're the champion, the challenger's got to get after you. He's got to let everyone know that you're taking the title from him. Okay, but there was not only that, but another thing that DC, I think even Bisping said, every time that Volk would go, it would encourage Lopez to go harder. And that's when the fight can get dangerous. I thought Volk did a great job of landing his combinations, getting in and getting out. There was no reason for him to fight anymore, like any harder than he did. He got his combinations in and he got out safely, and it looked great. He looked absolutely fantastic. So just my automatic recap. I'm giving you guys a quick recap today, or not recap, but a reaction video to the fights tonight. UFC 325. Like I had said throughout the week, these fights could end up being great fights because of the style matchups, the stand-up, all of these things, right? But what you find is what you'll find is, I know the UFC is leaning towards, hey, more stand-up fighters, more exciting fighters, those kind of things. But what you're going to end up with is one will always be, I think, a little bit more of a better grappler, like we found out tonight in the co-main event. And then one will be, they'll be both of them will be really good on the feet, and you'll end up with a little bit more of a slower paced fight. Luckily for that fight, it ended in a great knockout. But when I'm talking about the co-main event with Dan Hooker, Dan, I expected to see a different Dan. I expected to see a little bit more energized. I don't know what it was about him, but something tonight seemed off. He seemed slower. He didn't seem he just didn't seem himself. I think a lot of that had to do with the hesitation of being taken down. I think he believed, like, okay, look, I know these takedowns are just going to keep coming. He's got to have to circle off. He is a really good fighter going forward. He's not as good going back. And you're going to find that a lot of fighters, they are not. They are great when they are the hammer. They're not great when they're the nail. And it just kind of, in this fight, it was very obvious right from the get that he struggled to fight backwards, and he was so concerned about the takedown that Benoit Saint Denis just had his number. Just had his number and his ability to just say, like, hey, I can do whatever I want because I know that you're so afraid of being taken down, so afraid of being dominated from the ground. And that's exactly what happened. He was able to control every position there. I feel like what I've seen out of Dan Hooker from his earlier days to these moments now, he's living right now off of the tough guy. Like, I'm the guy that will take shots. I'm the guy that will go out there. But look how fast your career can change when you're doing that. Michael Chandler used to be one of the better fighters he could mix it up. He's great on the front. The arm in guillotines. He was good at chasing the neck. He was good at ground and pound. He is now a human punching bag, you know? And I feel like Dan Hooker is headed towards that direction. It's sad because I really enjoyed watching him fight in his come-ups. You know, he's very dangerous, tall, long, lanky. He was letting BSD control his head. You're the taller guy. You're the longer guy. I was so surprised to see him allow BSD to control the positioning and the head control. You're the taller guy. Get into that clinch. Get into those knees, those elbows. I couldn't wrap my head around that for a moment. So I expected more out of Dan Hooker. I wanted to see more out of Dan Hooker, but he's going to have to fix the problem on the ground. Has no sense of how to get back to the feet. Work, like, at least with JDM, right? JDM has 1-2 really good escapes from the bottom. And he can utilize those, and he does them very well. Dan Hooker tonight didn't look like he had ever grappled before in his life. I mean, his knees up by his chest, laying on his back, turned sideways, giving him the Kimura. I didn't know what he thought he was able to escape out of that Kimura. But in that situation, always trying to keep your back flat, not allowing him to attack the arms. And then when you can't turn left to right, you're trying to gather a leg, pull yourself into half guard. There was none of that. There was none of the getting to half guard, trying to build up a base, trying to get back up to your feet. None of that. So I was very surprised, very shocked by the growth of Dan Hooker's grappling. Like it hasn't gotten any better, especially after the last fight with Armand. You got to realize how much of a level change that is in competition. And to see what Armand did to him and see what BSD did to him, I mean, BSD has gotten a lot better. BSD had a very good game plan. Just understand, if I make him go backwards, he'll be so concerned with the takedown that he won't have time to pull the trigger. BSD, all he had to do was just worry about, he had to just make sure he didn't get caught with a knee coming in or a big uppercut coming in. He just kept diving at the legs, driving them backwards, diving at the legs. And then, as Hooker circled out, I mean, he was able to try to like pressure him again back into the fence. No change from Dan Hooker, which is sad because I really enjoy watching him fight. I hope he sticks around. I want to see him get some more wins in the UFC. BSD on another level right now, making some runs. I like this call out with Armand. I just don't see Armand giving him an opportunity or the chance, not as if he has a choice, but I do think I would like to see that fight. Just not sure the UFC will do it right now. I'm not sure if that's what they're going to, that would be a pretty big slap in the face to Armand. Rafael Faze versus Mauricio Ruffy. I thought what you saw tonight was a comeback. It was somebody who understood what happened the last fight cannot happen again. And I was very impressed. Good lateral movement, kept himself off base, spinning attacks, made it look flashy, but also played it very safe. Faze, the shorter fighter, had a hard time covering the distance, was always slightly outside of range. What I will do is I said this on X, I said, Faze was having success, if you go back and watch the first round, with the calf kicks. Rounds 2, rounds 3, didn't do any calf kicking. Literally had Ruffy switching stances. He had him switching stances right from the jump. Like 2 or 3 kicks in, his calf was red. He was already switching his stance. You could tell he was kind of like standing a little bit more square. Ruffy was, and he just didn't. Rafael Faze's corner and him, they got away from it by the end of round 1 and then into round 2 and got away from the kicks. I was expecting like a lot more calf kicks because he was having success early. He got away from it. And then my complaint with Ruffy was his jab was money all night. But he wasn't using the jab to set up anything else. And I think even Dean Thomas said the same thing. I was just thinking it, and then Dean comes on. He's like, "Oh, I love what he's doing with this jab," but there's no follow-up. I mean, even the straight right that he landed, he hit that raw dog. I mean, he threw it straight with no setup, no jab, no hook, nothing. Maybe a little shoulder feint, and then came and through the straight right, and it landed clean and was able to push him and get him out. With some nasty ground and pound. What I liked about Ruffy was that he stayed composed, never let the moment get too big for him. He understood what was at stake. Like the loss that he had coming off of the BSD loss was just, he got roasted, man. So much pressure coming into this fight for him to not have a performance like he did last time. I think this was a great performance. A huge win over a fantastic fighter. And there's nothing else I can say, man. He looked good. The only thing, like I said, the only other thing I could say, and I said it a little bit earlier, was a second ago, was that throw more off of the jab. You were sticking the jab, snapping Faze's head back. Throw that right hand, snap it back, get it going. Like throw combinations off of that. Throw the jab, go left hook, right hand, pop it all out. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Thought it was fantastic. There was plenty. Oh, here we go. Look at this. I like to see this. My GOAT, Josh Thompson, Papagino, 1, 2, 3. I appreciate that. There's I want to say it. Look at what you guys have. It says 7 out of 10. Here we go. What's this? Andrew Nance, 9.585. 7 out of 10. Solid card. It was a solid card. It was. I would give it a 7 also. Somewhere in there. The prelims were a little, they were a little shaky. There were some good fights. It was, I don't know. It just didn't have that. There was no real, maybe it's because we were so excited to see fights after last week. We were so excited to see fights last week because we hadn't seen them in 5 or 6 weeks. But this week just seemed a little meh. And they fought their asses off. There's no doubt about it. They fought their asses off. I just didn't get the I didn't get the love out of it. Here we go. Look at Meat Rocket over here talking about it was a 6.5 out of 10. I get that. Here we go. We got Faze in 5.4, 5.6, 6.5 out of 10. Then we've got one here too. Papagino, 6 out of 10. I mean, you know, I had about a 7. I'm gonna give it. There was some big fights, man. There's a lot of stress going into these fights. You know, I like these guys here. Dan coming off of a horrible loss to Arman Sarukian, then fighting a guy who's coming off a dominant win over Mauricio Ruffy. You know, and there's a lot of pressure on Dan to get the win in Australia. But Noy Lakes Saint Denis looked great. He picked up right where he left off. He looked absolutely fantastic, dominated from beginning to end. Ruffy got dominated last fight. So much stress, so much pressure on him to get this win, and he did. He looked great, and to get a knockout finish, like not a knock, but to get a finish the way he did, looked beautiful. Absolutely looked great. You know, so I think it was great. I think it was absolutely fantastic. You know, Faze, I don't know where this leaves Faze. Faze just I thought he was looking good. You know, he got away from the calf kicks early. Started like allowing Ruffy like to snap the head back with the jab, go ahead and dictate the pace of the fight. There was a lot that I felt like he could have done a little bit more in terms of hitting the calf kick and then coming back up with combinations, threatening the combinations, then hitting low with the legs. But look, obviously, when you're out there, things just feel different. You have to feel it, visualize it happening, and then, you know, a lot of people, I think there's a lot of people right here. Look, I mean, we've got right here, what was this? Ron Nelson, 36-17, UFC sucks now. I think they are losing a little bit of the aura. It's sad. There is a little bit of a weird, I'm going to give it some time, though. This is a big deal. The Paramount CBS deal is a big deal. I thought the app was a little shaky tonight as well. I think a lot of people, I had like 200 comments on X talking about how, because I put out there, says, is anyone else's app getting a little glitchy, especially during the prelims? I had one glitch, I think one or two glitches during the main card. But after that, like the prelim glitches were a lot. But it looks like they sorted it out. They got it figured out. So I think it'll get better over time, you guys. It'll get better. So I'm not too concerned. Like the app thing, I think Paramount is a fantastic app. They've got great shows. Like for what you're paying, I'm not going to complain. The commercials, yeah, the commercials are a lot. I feel like the commercials were a lot more this time than they were last time. It was very weird to me. It was a lot. So, I mean, there was a couple moments where I just caught myself going like, shit, the fight's not on yet? What the hell's going on? It just took forever. So overall, though, I mean, like, I thought the card, I give it around 6.5. I would give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 because there were some big time fighters on here, man. I know people were in here commenting that Dan Hooker sucks. Dan Hooker doesn't suck. Dan Hooker does not suck. He needs to figure out, he needs to get with a really good grappling coach. I think 6 months of grappling, his body style and that style, like his style of, I think it's there, man. He's got something. I wonder if he's taking too much damage now and it's just kind of like stuck in a rut. You'll find that guys, when they've taken too much damage, they just continue to fight the same way. You know, Phil Baroni. I mean, when he was younger, he could wrestle, man. Phil Baroni came out to AKA and lived with me for like 3 years. The guy could wrestle. Wrestled at Central Michigan. Good wrestler, like, you know, heavy-handed, obviously could spar. But as he took more damage, he got stuck in this rut of just boxing. Didn't kick, didn't knee, none of that stuff. And I feel like Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler and other guys, like, you know, guys, Justin Gaethje, guys that have taken a lot of damage, but guys that are in like these brawls and fights, they have a tendency just to continue on with the way that they fight. They don't make any changes, you know. And in this fight, and I think that's what I said. It was great to see Ruffy made some adjustments. You know, Faze didn't try to wrestle as much as BSD, but I think Ruffy made some slight adjustments. Used lateral movement, controlled the positioning, you know, and did a good job snapping the head back with the jab, those kind of things. Tuivasa and Taliesin Teixeira. I mean, to be honest, I expected more out of Ty. I wanted Ty to win this fight. I thought Ty was gonna win this fight. I thought Ty I agree with what the commentary was saying. He came out like a bat out of hell and just rushed in there, got taken down early. First round was gone. He also, when he was rushing, he didn't throw punches. Like he was just kind of running forward. And he didn't throw any punches. Got taken down, controlled. Then second round, similar. Third round had success, but just had no cardio. No conditioning to really gut it out and get him out of there in the third round. That really was the downturn of this fight. It's just seeing that he had Teixeira hurt in the third round, had opportunities to get him out of there. He just didn't have the cardio. Physically, I thought he looked good. Problem is when his wind and his cardio just wasn't there. Wasn't the same. So I don't know. It was I think Teixeira, the height gave Tuivasa some problems. You know, he was smothering his shots, trying to reach in and get in there. So he, was kind of punching up, trying to land the hard shot. Didn't really wasn't able to find the mark too much. Didn't find it all in the first 2 rounds. But in that third round, man, he found it a couple times, then smothered his own shots because he was so tired. It was almost like falling forward into the clinch. He had his moments, he had his opportunities, just couldn't get it done. I go back, I look a little bit like how I look at the Diego Lopes fight. Is Diego just didn't start pulling the trigger till later, and even when it wasn't enough. You can't wait for you can't give away rounds these days. You've got to win every round. You've got to try to win every round. You cannot win fights if you don't throw punches. We've seen it way too many times. Fighters come out and they don't pull the trigger in the first round, and then by rounds 2, 3, and all of a sudden you realize you're not pulling the trigger at all. You're throwing maybe 15 punches in a round. That's not a lot. That's definitely not a lot. So next thing you know, you're in round 4 and you already lost 2 of the 3 rounds. And you're like, shit, I got to win this round. Otherwise I lose this fight. I got to have a chance. I got to give myself a chance to win this fight. Diego Lopes didn't give himself a chance to win the fight. I think the only round I gave Diego was the one where he dropped VOLK. And even that was a close, but I mean, because of the damage. When you drop somebody, I don't want to say it's automatically like boxing, but in MMA, it's pretty close. Like if you drop somebody, you won that round. If you're talking about damage being the number one thing on the criteria list, then, okay, look, if I dropped you, I did the most damage in that round. I hurt you the most. So Diego won that round, but I would think that was the only round that I gave Diego. I didn't give him any other rounds. Tai Tuivasa, though, I'd be like, he had moments in the third round. Just no cardio. You waited too long to get it done. You allowed yourself to get taken down. And when you got taken down, you rushed it so much, and then you got stuck on bottom. And then when you did get back up to your feet, you were smothering your shots, so they didn't have the same effect. He's trying to find his way in to get in deep on the shots. Quinlan Southgood, man, that kid he's tough. He's well-rounded. He's good. I mean, we saw the highlight reel head kick knockout in his last fight. This fight, though, we saw everything. We saw how good he is everywhere. I thought he fought a great fight. Not sure I'm not sure. I think the sample size is just not out enough for him yet, but he's got 4 wins in the UFC. I'm not sure if he's ready for a for a top 15 guy. Let's take a look at the rankings. Let me pull these rankings up real quick. 155 pounds, top 15. Who's down here at the end? You got Ruffy, Chandler. I mean, you could give anybody Chandler right now. Ruffy is number 14, I think, right now. Let me go ahead and update these. Yeah, Ruffy's gonna jump up to Faze's around like number 10 or number 11, somewhere in there. I mean, you could probably give him somebody like Beneil Dariush. Quinlan, you can give him someone like a Beneil Dariush. I mean, I don't want to see him thrown to the wolves just yet. The 155-pound weight class has got some tough fighters. You can give him Chandler. Might be a tough fight. You know, it might be Dariush getting older as well. Both those guys. But once you get him to there, once you get him to number 10, number 11, I mean, it goes to BSD, Gamrot, Dan Hooker. Dan's going to drop. You know, he'll drop quite a bit. You know, you've got Patty up there. You've got Max up there. So, I mean, there's guys there. I mean, like, there's guys for him to fight. But I would leave him somewhere up in that Manuel Torres and Chandler and Dariush kind of position. But once you put him into that rankings, and I've said this forever, anytime you have a young prospect, get him as many, if you're coaching young prospects, get them as many as many fights as you can to fight out the no money contract. This is his 4th fight. I don't know if he signed a 4th fight, a 6th fight, or an 8-fight deal when he came in. But whatever it takes to get that rookie contract done before you start fighting top 15 guys, do that. Do that. And I think because he got this finish, if he had 6 fights on, they're probably trying to re-sign him now. They're like, hey, let's get you re-signed now at a little bit a bigger bump, give you a bigger bump, and we can start having you fight the 15, the top 15 guys. Because they're going to hope to sign you to a 6-fight deal. They'll sign you to a 6-fight deal, and then they're going to give you a top 15 guy because they know for 6 fights, I can pay you only in your 2nd contract, which isn't going to be as much. It's going to be more, but it's not going to be what it could be if you just signed a 4-fight deal and you had success in all 4 fights. But that's you cashing out or banking on yourself. That's you saying, I'm going to for sure win all these fights. And then I'm going to come in for a lot more money because I'll be ranked in that top 10, top 8, whatever it is. That's you believing in yourself. That's you investing on yourself. Like saying that, hey, I'm going to do this. And I think Quinlan is a fantastic prospect. Absolutely a fantastic prospect. Loved watching his fight tonight. Thought he fought a fantastic fight. Really, really good fight. So, I'm going to go back. I want to go back because I know some of you guys joined a little bit late. I'm going to talk about the main event again. I think I said earlier this week, I go, Volkanovski is one of those guys, right? He's one of those guys that, like, you look at him, you go, look, he had a little bit of a rough patch. And in that rough patch, he took the 2 losses, one to Islam, one to Ilya. No shame in losing to those guys. Especially the way he took the loss to Islam, coming in on like a week's notice. A lot of people are like, why are you doing it? You had a great fight. You had a full camp. Like, yeah, no reason. And then he fought right after that. He goes and he fights Ilya Topuria, gets knocked out again. How long until we start talking about how those 2 fights kind of derailed him a little bit, but I mean, he's back, I think, now. The confidence is back up. He's fighting guys that he should be fighting in his weight class. I think he looks good. The speed was a huge factor tonight. Dominated Diego Lopes with the speed. Fast hands, got in, got out. Out-wrestled Diego Lopes, pretty much out-grappled him. Diego had his back in the 5th. Gave him the little hula hoop that like Gilbert Melendez used to do. Like he kind of like opened the leg a little bit and then he swung him around to the side and to the front. Great job. Fantastic job by VOLK. At his age, fighting these guys that are smaller guys, the weight classes, once your speed goes, you're in trouble. He's still fast as fuck. He's still really fast. And a fantastic fighter, man. Energy level's there, excitement is there. He's happy to be in there. Those are the fighters that people love watching. Do you see that smile on his face when he walked out? Do you see that smile on his face when Buffer was introducing him and he was he's just so relaxed? If you have ever fought somebody that is that relaxed out there, what a pain in the ass they are. It is so difficult to deal with those guys. Because when you're trying to raise the level, they're just out there chilling. They just they're relaxed. They're not using energy in areas they shouldn't be using it. Volkanovski right now is, like I said, he's on his return. I think he's back. I don't know how long it's going to last because, you know, he is getting older. I think he's what, 36? I'm not taking anything away from him. This guy is obviously an all-time great. First ballot Hall of Famer. He fought a very smart high fight IQ fight tonight. And then the commentary did a great job of breaking down and analyzing what he did. 37 turns 38 in September. Okay, I thought he was 36. 37 years old. Thank you. Papagino, 1, 2, 3. 38 years old, fighting, and still that fast. It's fucking wild to me. Looked good. Dominated the young guy. And Diego's problem, I think, like I said, Diego's problem was he just was one step behind. He needed to get it into a slugfest, but he wasn't willing to go ahead and exchange. He wasn't willing to leave himself out there. He got hit with some big shots on the come in. As he was stepping in, he got hit with the hard jab or the hard right hand. And then on the way out is when VOLK would hit him on the way out as well. So Diego would come in with 1 or 2 punches, land 1, maybe 2, but grazing, not like landing clean. And then when he did land, VOLK would land on the exit. So as a judge, what you're seeing is him get hit last. And how do you score that exchange? I score it for the guy who landed last. You hear about it all the time in boxing. The guy comes in, he's got a great 1-2, boom, boom, lands a shot. But the other guy that just basically steps to the side, comes out and lands a hook on the way out. That's the guy who won the exchange, because that's what the judges saw. The last thing the judges saw was that. They saw that combination. You know? So Diego's going to have to make some changes. I go back to what I was saying also too at the beginning. I expected him to have less respect for Volkanovski. I expected him to not be out there touching gloves after a good exchange, not be out there smiling with VOLK. You can respect the man and still want to kick his ass. You have to think that way. You've got to stay dialed in and focused on what your goal is. Your goal is to beat that guy for the title. And he lost moments of that. Touching hands and smile, like, okay, shaking it, like just too much respect. I really feel, and that means that he's not, I mean, we all know, I believe we all understand that Diego Lopes is a good person. He just has that good person about him. I get the same thing. Obviously, we all know the same. We all feel the same way probably about VOLK. At least that's how I feel about VOLK. They seem like they're just amazing people. But you can't let that get in the way of me trying to knock your head off. So that's interesting. You know, I'm going to talk a couple about some of the other fights here. You know, you got Tafa and Elikana. Elikana, man, looked good. Got dropped in the first. Then he started wrestling. All of a sudden, he was a wrestler. I was like, yo, hello. Smart. High fight IQ. Understanding that, hey, this is where I need to win the fight. I can't take any chances. It's about winning. It doesn't always got to look pretty, though. You got to get it done. Get on to the next one. They don't always go the way you want to do, but no matter what, as long as you get the W at the end, that's all that matters. It's all that matters. Yeah, I mean, look, and then I went through with Cody Brundage. Did anyone else have a hard time with Cody Brundage tonight? I had a hard time with Cody because he didn't look the same. He had hair. He had longer hair, was dyed, I don't know, but I thought Cam looked good. I thought Cam looked fantastic. Did the work. And I had a ton of people because Taurus Finney trains in Gilroy at DC's, and I was just with him when I was out there for Christmas. Did an interview with DC. If you guys haven't seen that video, it's on my YouTube channel, on this YouTube channel here. Check it out. But Jacob Malcone, man, he had a great game plan. Keep it long, snap the jab. Finney doesn't move his head offline. Stays directly in front of you. He didn't wrestle as much. I already had like conspiracy theorists coming after Finney going, oh, well, you know, the UFC probably told him not to wrestle. Couldn't wrestle. No, I don't think so. I had a talk with him when I was in the Bay Area. He's like, no, man, I've been working on my stand up. I'm going to, I'm obviously need to learn to punch my way into my wrestling. I don't know, man. It kind of threw it off. Felt like it threw it off. He was having a hard time closing the distance. I thought Malcolm had a great job, did a great job of snapping the jab, really letting the hands fly. I thought it was fantastic, man. I think Malcolm just had the number, and Finney just had no answer for closing the distance and getting in there. None. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our talk on this. I just wanted to give you guys a quick reaction video. This is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to I'll either do live for the actual event. I felt like these fights, they had opportunities to be exciting, but I kind of figured they might end up being standoffs, or somebody might just end up being too dominant. And it pretty much was exactly how I was suspecting it would go. Is you had Diego was either going to come out there and be able to not respect VOLK at all, and just walk him down and land hard shots and try to get a takedown or try to knock him out. And I thought he'd be a little bit more aggressive. Was not that way. Dan Hooker, I thought, was either going to come out and knock out BSD, or I thought BSD was going to take him down and dominate and control him. And that's kind of how it ended up being. And then I thought Faze and Ruffy, I thought Faze was going to wrestle more, but I also thought he was going to do more work inside the phone booth. And he wasn't able to get inside the phone booth. Ruffy was able to keep him on the outside, use his reach and his range, and give Faze some problems on the feet, which ultimately ended up with him getting knocked out. And Tuivasa, I expected him to fight a little smarter. The energy kind of got to him, I think, and he ended up on his back. That's what ultimately cost him the fight. And Quinlan, Sal Kid, I mean, you can't say enough about him. Kid looks great. Kid looks absolutely fantastic. The sky is the limit for him. Loved what I saw out of him tonight. Great job. Absolutely great job. Can't wait to watch that kid fight again. Good prospect. And looking forward to it. All right, guys. Hey, that's my UFC 325 reaction video. And like I said, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Angelo and I will be doing a full recap in depth for this UFC 325 in the morning, live on this Weighing In YouTube channel. Don't miss it. We will see you guys then. Hit your bell notifications, all that stuff, so you guys can be reminded in the morning. They'll be going live in the morning for you guys. And we're going to have some fun, man. Probably crack open a couple beers, get ready to, do nothing for the rest of the day. So it is Sunday tomorrow. We're going to enjoy it. All right, guys, we are out. Hope you guys enjoyed this.